Welcome to the channel, folks. Mr. H here for another deep dive into the world of Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Now this is from an interview with Forbes. Scott Chambliss recently spoke to Forbes. He is the production designer on Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and he spoke about how he approached redesigning the iconic Toho monsters, and just generally speaking, kind of what qualities he was looking for and how he went around it and how he was going to please the fans. But not only that, Warner Bros. Managed to allow, or at least release, an embargo on his concept work. So there doesn't look to be any spoilers in this, okay, but don't quote me on that. But as far as I can see, there's no spoilers in any of the concept work. But what Scott Chambliss said was the following. Obviously, it's the big scale of the monsters, and then our present day, comparatively tiny scale of our daily lives, and because we made the clear decision right off the bat that this is set in real time and the real world, everything about it, even the most improbable of our settings, like the inner mountain, underwater headquarters, had to have a level of believability and detail and up to the moment quality that we would recognize as being authentic. With that sort of human scale grounding, we hope that it allowed for grander scale play of the monsters fighting and just being in a picture to feel more awesome. Now also, Scott Chambliss is quoted as saying that it is one of the most interesting things for him in his career. He stated, "It's of course creating the environments for the story of the movie, but also I was hired to be the ringleader of the design team that we brought on to collaborate on the updating of the monsters themselves, and to me is very exciting. As part of a design team, none of us want to F it up." So interesting that obviously he worked as part of a design team and how he headed that one up. He's also quoted as saying that the challenge of trying to remain true at our core to the designs of these original monsters that people really hold dear in their hearts, but also bringing them up to date in a way that honours their past, but feels much more contemporary, not only technologically, but in terms of how monsters function in movies as characters. We focused a lot of design attention on what the environment, in terms of how all of the monsters are affecting it, whether they're directly or indirectly affecting it, and what, visually, their place is in the world and what sort of natural elements they represent. So that's quite interesting. You know, obviously we could say that Rodan is, representing fire as the Titan. I quite like the idea that Ghidorah represents chaos as a Titan. He's not necessarily an element. He is also quoted as sort of teasing the twin fairies, but not. He says that it's pretty kitschy and also something that I love about those movies. I'm not going to say any specifics, but hopefully people who are expecting to see the twins will be pleased with what they see in our movie. So that to me indicates that potentially there's some form of inclusion of twins, kind of. Again, it's not clear cut at all, but it would seem to me that maybe there is some twins in the movie. And then one of the main take homes for me from this interview, I loved the original 2014 movie, mainly due to the sense of scale that was achieved in that film. It's very, 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 very good. The sense of scale is pretty much a masterclass in how to show scale. Now, Scott Chambliss does actually comment on this. He says that in visual terms, the story takes place in two completely different scales. Obviously, it's the big scale of the monsters, and then our present day, comparatively tiny scale of our daily lives. And because we made the clear decision right off the bat that this is set in real time and the real world, and then he goes on to kind of comment on the original quote that I gave at the start. But it's that first bit there. It's the recognizing that you've got two different scales. You've got monsters as characters. They have their own scale. Everything from them up has to be real to them, and the way they interact with it has to be real as well. But then also how that then interacts with us on our low down scale. And I know that's kind of a long-winded way of saying it, but that's what Gareth Edwards got right in the first one. Again, whatever you think of the first one, whether you thought there was not enough monster battles or whatever, they really did get their sense of scale bang on. So I'm really, really happy to hear that. And that's pretty much where the interview ends. There's some other key snippets of information about his kid and things like that, but there's not an awful lot that I want to touch on. In terms of the artwork, this, I believe, is actually going to be in the upcoming Titan books, the art and making of Godzilla King of the Monsters. I'm hoping, actually, I may be able to do a giveaway for that, but obviously stay tuned for that in the long run. But first things first, of course, we can see Rodan fighting off Mothra in the sky. Some of these are labeled, and I have had them playing throughout this video. We can see what looks like Godzilla battling King Ghidorah, maybe after King Ghidorah has beaten Rodan, because we can see in the corner a volcano, which to me indicates Rodan's volcano. And we can see one labeled Santo Domingo, where Rodan is emerging. This was obviously early on in the design process, when he still had feathers. That's obviously since been removed. We can see that from the trailer. He doesn't really have feathers anymore. But a nice design nonetheless. And you can really see how a lot of this came through into that kind of maquette that we saw not too long ago that was leaked and everyone thought it wasn't true. I mean, it is. And then this is an interesting one. It looks like Rodan, but could also, and again, I know that it's probably not, but you could also almost mistake this for a Muto. So King Ghidorah, Muto versus Godzilla. We can see one labeled Ghidorah emerges, where he's obviously smashed down a helicopter as well, and Godzilla is battling King Ghidorah. We can see one which is actually, or was labeled, Monarch to the Rescue, which has Godzilla wading through the ocean with Rodan and Mothra coming up beside him. Interesting take on this. I'm trying to look in the background just to see if maybe King Ghidorah is dead in the background, but he's not. So interesting one nonetheless with this. Not overly sure what this is depicting, but it's a good image. The artwork, as always, is just astounding. Now we can also see Godzilla in what looks to be the end of the 2014 film, the aftermath of the San Francisco attacks, but it may be an early on battle with another Titan, we don't know. We see Rodan versus Ghidorah, great true clash of the Titans, and again, just one of those things where I look at this and I go, this artwork is amazing. Like, it really is astounding. The design work on King Ghidorah, again, because we can see a close-up of his head, this is fantastic. This is some really, really exceptional artwork here. And then we can also see Godzilla underwater, which we've seen in the trailers anyway. So again, no spoilers there. And then another one of Ghidorah emerging from the ice. And then Godzilla standing loud and proud. So there you go. That's a brief rundown of the Forbes interview, a display of some of the concept art. I would highly encourage you to stay tuned. I'm hoping to be working with Titan Books on a giveaway for the Godzilla King of the Monsters, the making and art of, which this stuff will be in there. And if you've ever picked up any of the Titan books, you know that they're really, really good. Kong, the art and making of alone is a fantastic book. In fact, I recently just took delivery of that, and I'm really, really, really impressed. Genuinely impressed, and actually, you know, kind of regret not getting them before. But anyway, guys, I wanted to let you know about this. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Also, just a real quick one. I had released some kind of merchandise designs over on represent.com. Unfortunately, they have been taken down. Not really sure why, but never mind. If you do want to go check out, I do still have two Represent kind of tees up there at the moment. There is a Godzilla inspired one, God in Glass. You can see links to all of that down below in the description box, as well as my social media and also my Patreon page. But just wanted a quick PSA for that. As always, please do hit subscribe if you are new to the channel. And to stay up to date on the world of pop culture and movie news, hit that bell notification icon. Guys, if you like this video, please do give it a like and a share. I've Missed Age. Take care.